Again, I'm Dr. Glenn Barnes, and we're going to be talking about your bailout bag in this supplemental video. Now, again, let me preface that whether you call it bailout bag, there's a bug out bag, a level 1 bag, level 2 bag, Hank, George, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. This is a bag that you're going to keep with you most of the time. So if you're in classes, it's your school bag. For me, this is my school bag. This is what I take when I come in to teach. And you'll see not just survival stuff in here, but also work stuff. So it is a way to supplement your everyday carry. So working from the back side of this, for me, trauma management is important because I am in a nursing profession and I keep a first aid kit on the outside pocket. I also keep a tourniquet on the outside pocket with a pair of nitrile gloves. There's a small tin cup in here that just helps protect the kit, and a pair of trauma shears. There's a tourniquet in this kit, but to get to that tourniquet, I'd have to get into the kit, then get into the tourniquet while somebody's bleeding out. So the tourniquet that actually comes in the kit is my backup tourniquet. My primary tourniquet is one that stays out, is easily accessible, I can get to it anytime, as well as the gloves. There's gloves in here, but these are backups. So your other kit is a sealed kit. It's got combat gauze. It has a tourniquet. This is a really good kit. It's by a company named Tactical Medical Solutions. I have no interest in this company other than I've used their stuff in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Africa, and they have great stuff. So check them out. If you're looking for options, North American Rescue is another one that has a lot of really good equipment. On the other side, a water bottle, because hydration is important. So, and again, this is one that a bag I keep with me all the time. Attached to the carrying handle, I have a little flashlight, LED light, and I have a survival paracord bracelet. I used to wear this all the time, and my wife kept telling me that it looked silly on me, so then I just put it on my pack. And I'll wear it when she's not around, but other than that, I'll keep it on the pack. Front pouch, it is nursing stuff. I've got keys to my office. I do have a very small fixed blade that's inside here that is kind of cool. It's a small little fixed blade with a little ferrocerium rod for fire starting built into the handle. Now, another caveat, if you're going to have items like this, please be mindful of where you take your bag, because you can go to some places in town or through an airport. Well, this would get you in a lot of trouble. So be mindful of what you carry, what you have, and don't take illegal items into areas that's not supposed to go. I have a backup battery for my cell phone, because in the EDC, I told you how important it was to have your cell phone, but it does you no good if you run out of juice. This one actually can be solar power recharged. I have another battery backup, so I have 2 spare battery backups, so I should never run out of power for my cell phone. In the little zipper pouch, well, you should never go anywhere without a spork. But I have 2 sealed bags of drinking water. So this kit right away gives me the means to provide for myself for at least a couple days. But having drinking water that is in a pouch, it's sterile. It can not only be used for drinking, but if I had to wash out a wound, I might use purified water for a wound, but if I was going to wash out an eye, something that was in the eye, I would probably go to this first, because this is guaranteed to be clean and sterile. And it's in a small deal. Poke a little hole in it, I've got the ability to actually wash out an eye. Notepad. Again, not everything in this kit is going to be for emergencies. My boo-boo kit, why do I notice that? Because it says on there, boo-boo kit. And a small liter, half-liter bag for holding water. Set that down, and the boo-boo kit is honestly just a good basic first aid kit. There's some tooth pain drops in there, that benzocaine that actually can work topically. Super glue for sealing wounds. Now, some people tell you major wounds you can seal up with super glue. Don't do it. If it's deep, don't seal the top of it, because you'll leave a pocket underneath the skin that you've sealed, and then bad things will grow there, so don't do that. Then I have some small little mini splints, some steri strips, and an assortment of Band-Aids. One of the Band-Aids I use is already impregnated with an antibiotic ointment, but I also have a couple little packets of antimicrobial ointment as well. So some alcohol preps, just things to treat minor wounds and emergencies, nothing major. But that's what this big kit's for. That's the major and the minor. In the main compartment, and you notice there's still a lot of space in here because going to work and going to school, I'll be putting additional items in there. But this is my electronics kit for work. So in here I have HDMI cables, I have my presentation pointer, I have a backup flashlight in here. I like these little flashlights. They also act as an additional battery backup for cell phone charging. And most importantly, if you have all these chargers, that you have a cable that fits not only your cell phone, but it would be good if you had one that would fit an app. You know, if you're an Android, get an Apple also. If you're Apple, have an Android for other people. And yet again, another battery backup. A lot of electronics today, again, they don't work if they don't have juice. So I have 3 to 4 battery backups right now to my cell phone. Okay, we're back from kind of clearing off the desk here a bit. So the electronic kit, the boo-boo kit, a major notepad that I use for writing. And then I'm going to set this off to the side with my electronics and my notebook. And this is actually a dedicated survival kit. And yes, I have that in there because I'm not going to put everything into small little pockets and then be rooting around for it. If for some reason I need the space or I can't take all of that, or if I need to help somebody else out, this kit here can be attached to a belt, carried with you separate from the pack. So this kit has the actual survival kit stuff in there. So as we mentioned, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, first thing is being able to have filtered clean air. So I have a small filter mask in here. And they're going to come out in not any real order because it packs in the way it can pack in. So I have flashlights. I really prefer headlamps because if I'm using a headlamp, I have both my hands free. If I'm using a flashlight, I've got things tied up. And if you're trying to jumble around with things and shine a flashlight, you're going to drop your flashlight, and 9 out of 10 times it's going to land someplace that you can't retrieve it from. So now your flashlight's gone, you can't get it back. So a headlight, and this is a really small one that is called Lux Pro, and it's got just a thin elastic band for a headband, and it's pretty bright, and it has multiple lighting options. So you have a red light, you have flashing red light, and you have your white light. So really like that little light. Next priority is water. Again, no real connection to Sawyer brand filters. I just really like them. So this is the Sawyer Mini and the Sawyer Squeeze system. With this system, I can fill this with dirty water, take the cap off, screw the filter into the dirty water bag, and then squeeze it into a clean container. So I can go from here to here and I'll have clean water. Be careful when you're doing this that you're not holding it directly over, because you'll end up dripping contaminated water into your clean water source. So always keep it off to the side. If you have any kind of a tube extender, that makes it even easier to manage that and keep it safe. And you can just squeeze it in there. Or I can fill this up and I can take and just draw it straight from the filter itself. So Sawyer Mini with the collapsible bag gives you a great way to store. If you have a stream and you're still on the move, you can fill the bag, drink the whole bag dry, then fill it up again, and then just carry it with you and filter it when you need to drink it. So again, lighter is the best option for starting fires. The second one is matches. Now, these matches, they're Titan Storm matches. These things are incredible. They will burn in any weather condition. They're windproof, waterproof. You can put these in water, completely extinguish them, pull them back out, and it will reignite. So they don't last incredibly long, but for when they last, you have a very good fire that will not go out. And then I have a little cotton batting up into the cap here. It helps to keep the matches from rattling and also gives me a way to, a little piece of tinder. I always keep extra strike pads. There's one on the outside here, but they come in this container with extra strike pads, because if your strike pad gets wet, this thing floats, but if your strike pad gets wet, it can actually degrade the striker pad so that it doesn't work real good. So you have some dry ones in the kit. This is my little necessity bag. In here is a small emergency sleeping bag. Now, it's not much, but it is Mylar, so that you can wrap up in there and conserve your body heat. And it's even camouflaged in case you're running from zombies. Now, one of the things I did is took a survival blanket and I tucked it inside this as well. So between the two Mylars, I should have pretty good coverage and be able to maintain my thermal regulation. I also have an emergency poncho. You know, as you know, conduction, convection, if you're wet, it's going to suck the heat out of your body. So keeping you and your equipment dry is important. That's one of the things I like about ponchos, especially the military type that will drape over your backpack, is that it keeps you and your equipment dry. Now, I just have a little catch bag for all the other cool little items you want to bring. So I've got cordage. Now, this cord is called Survivor Cord, from Titan Company, same people that make this kit. And Titan makes a lot of really good stuff. Normal 550 paracord has 7 strands inside an outer shell. This has those 7 strands, and it also has a copper wire that can be used for snares. It also has a strand of what's called jute, which is a fire starter, and it has a fishing line, a monofilament fishing line. I think it's about 10-pound test, as well as a red and white braided additional line. So where normal paracord or 550 cord is rated to 550-pound test, this is rated up to 660-pound test. Don't think you'd ever actually have to put that much weight on it, but it's the fact that you have all these extra little niceties inside this strand, so that this cord becomes its own little mini survival kit. Then this other cordage is for things that are not really weight-bearing dependent, and this is called bank line, and it's used for fishing and boating. Have some Gorilla Tape. Instead of having it in the big roll, you just wind it back around on itself, and it keeps it nice and flat. Now, in here, this is by a company called Refactor Tactical, and it is a survival kit that's built into a paracord, actually the paracord that's on there. And in there, it has a small fishing kit, it has additional line, and so I just really have all of those smaller items from that kit in the bag. So here's a whole fishing setup, along with all the paracord, normal 550 paracord. A P38 can opener. The reason it's called P38, it would take 38 times of activating it around a normal C-ration tin to open up the tin, P38. And then a couple extra fishing hooks. And these are cool little things. They're those little mini washcloths. So sometimes you just need a rag for whatever reason, and these compressed rags work out really, really good. Just keep them dry. I have a mechanical pencil and a waterproof notepad. If I am moving from one place and I need to leave a note, I can do that. If I need to make notes along the way of casualties or situation or anything that's going on, a mechanical pencil and an all-weather notebook. Hard to beat. I have a bit of money in here because, again, not everything's going to be the zombie apocalypse. You may just be stranded somewhere and they don't take credit cards. You want to be able to have some cash with you. And how much cash? You don't want to make it obscene, but around $100 or so, and you want it in multiple denominations, because if you're walking around with a $100 bill, you're going to be giving a $100 bill to somebody for less than $100 worth of stuff. So having things broke down into 10s, 20s, and a lot of ones that you can buy and purchase items that you would need from other people. This is a little small saw. So it's they call it a commando saw, but it's basically just a wire saw for cutting larger branches. A fairly decent compass. This one here does basically what you need a compass to do, and that's point north. It does have a spinning bezel. This one here does not lock, which makes it not a great one, but I have a better compass in a larger kit. But for just getting around, this is small, it's accurate, it'll do what you need it to do. And we'll cover more about how to read a compass and the things you want to look for in a compass in the land navigation modules. I have a small pencil. Now the thing with the pencil, I like the mechanical pencil, but it's always good to have a backup. You know, the old military adage is that 2 is 1 and 1 is none, meaning that you always have 2 of everything in case something happens to it. But you can actually, as you're sharpening it, the shavings from sharpening this pencil can be used for tinder. And I've taken a couple rolls of that gaffer's tape and rolled it around the pencil. It gives it a little more to hold on to because you don't need necessarily a full-size pencil. And it gives me tape that I know where I can get. Then, can't say enough about a multi-tool. Now, this one's a Gerber. And there are just so many different things that these things have on there and so many different styles out there that you almost don't want to be without a multi-tool. So which multi-tool do you get? Look at your situation, look at your skill level, look at what items on there you're going to need. If you're in a more urban setting, you might want one with screwdrivers and the bit plugs and stuff in there. For me, if it's got a couple screwdrivers, it's got one of the main things you want it to have an awl so you can bore holes into things. And you want it to have a blade, so that becomes a backup to your other blade. And then you want it to have a saw. So if it's got a saw, a blade, and anything else that you really want in there, then that'd be the right tool for you. So another little mini Altoids tin. This is a miniature fishing kit. So in this I have both 50-pound and 10-pound test line. I have a couple floats. I've got eyelets, and these little eyelets can be screwed into a tree if I want to run a line and have a trap configured fishing line where the fishing line's out there and it's rigged to a tension device that when the fish hits it, it'll automatically pull the fish in. That'll be covered in another video. And if not, if I cut a small pole, then I can screw these in and run the line through it as a normal fishing pole would be. So 3 or 4 of these little eyelets, there's some weights, hooks, basically everything you'd need to do a little fishing kit. So that is my bailout bag, my everyday carry extended bag, whatever you want to call it. And it'll basically, given your skill level, this could help sustain you independently for several days. So especially the main priority you have is a means to filter water, a means to make fire, and a means to make other things that will get you through the time. All right, I'll see you next time when we talk about your bug out bag. Bye.